Hello to you all. I hope you are all well and this video finds you all well and healthy. I would like to invite you to a little bit brainstorm, something to think about. In the spectrum, in the light of understanding that things had happened to you, and you might be right, and you're probably right, then you come to a space of ownership. Things happen for you, right? And when they happen for you, we call it in the coaching world, in the healing world, it's an opportunity. But then in that part of opportunity, we come to a space when we're understanding, hopefully, that we are creating a certain vibration, certain situation that actually help us to manifest a reality. So let me help you understand this situation and perspective from a little different view, and you can re-examine, reassess your situation and see if there's any way you can approach it differently, engage it differently. So curing and healing are not the same thing. I'm like, what's the difference between curing and healing? Healing is a long journey, which eventually is very short. We talk about the inner child, we talk about the observing, insourcing rather than outsourcing, re-examining, redirecting, recreating, owning your reality. Curing is like, fix me, help me, come on, do something, right? Curing, medicine cure. In certain places, it can create a healing process if the person really own that journey, own that situation, and all the things that involve that situation that he finds himself in, and spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, he's redirecting and recreating in life. Absolutely. And most of the people that went tremendously amount of pain in their life and physical challenges will say that this changed their life and they actually healed for so many other things that this situation stimulate in them. So let me tell you a funny story. This story happened a few years ago. One of my brothers, he got a haircut. It was quite a while, but it's a really juicy story. So the brother came home with a crooked haircut in the back. And it's like, nobody touched my brother, nobody damaged on my brother. And I'm like a very protective sister, came to the hair salon with a few of my kids and my brothers, and we kind of like a big gang. And I approached the woman there and said, hey, what's going on? I would like to speak with the manager. And she pulled back. Her body language told me she doesn't like it. And I didn't yell. I was just me and more upper voice, not a small lady. And she pulled back. I said, are you the manager? And she said, yes. And I asked, are you capable of having this conversation? I am a very frustrated client. My brother finished his haircut, and this is how he's coming out from your salon. And I would like it to be repaired. It's like, oh, don't harass me. I'm like, I'm not harassing you. I'm just expressing my dissatisfaction, my frustration, and I hope you are more than capable of handling it, curing it, fixing it for us to move on. And from here and there, it's become really unpleasant conversation. And she felt that I'm attacking her. And I'm like, I'm not attacking you. I'm just expressing my frustration. I think your job description will allow you to be capable of handling it. And then I came home and I should know better than this, right? So I reflected with myself about it. It's like, what have I done or didn't do? Or what had happened that created this situation? Because if you come from a space understanding things happen to you and then they're happening by you, you have to take the ownership that you're creating something. So after a while, I came back and I said, hey, I would really like to know what is that I did or didn't do that helped you feel that you are being attacked or being blamed or couldn't have this conversation. She said, look, you came with all those people. And I obviously stopped her. I said, well, those are my family. These are my family. She said, yeah, but there's a lot of people. And I felt attacked. And I didn't reply back, but you are right, I'm wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, which is very easy to go into. I said, I hear you. My intentions was just expressing my frustration and fixing it. And this situation really synced with me for a while because the first tendency for anyone, a parent, couples, friendships, is siblings, is to stick to the story, our own story, and claim who is right and who is wrong. Most of the time, we are going to be right, right? And how far is that statement is helping you? What I would like to help you see is that maybe you are right. And it might be that the way you see it, you approach it, you communicate it, you share that, create a certain feeling, a trigger, reaction in the other person, perspective, body, mind, emotion, and so on. Now, we can't walk on eggs, and we cannot be afraid to communicate who we are and what we do and our feelings, but we need to be in a space where we can host someone else's perspective and not only ours. We grow up in society, especially now, that aiming for curing, fix it, help me fix it, right? And give me the pill, give me the solution, tell me what to do, and I will do it. However, fixing and curing is not healing. Healing is when I can come to someone and said, I hear you. I might not understand you. We're not holding the same space or perspective, but I can hear you where you're holding. And this can be very helpful in any relationship that you would like to keep and not to destroy. If it's a romantic relationship, if it's in your family, it's in between close friendship, because many times where we feel that we need to defend our own position, we'll come to a space of who is right and who is wrong. And you need to be in a space when you need to own the fact that you might not will have the intention of hurting someone else. But the other person experienced the same situation in a different experience than yours. Is it possible that we can be in the same room and have a different experience? Absolutely. We can go to the same restaurant and we'll have a different experience. You'll say, what a wonderful design the restaurant have. And I will say, did you see the client? Did you see the clients or the design or the food, right? We all wired differently. What I'm looking for you to pay attention is that many times you have no intention of hurting someone, but that person is coming with a different wiring. It can be a child, it can be a friend, it can be a parent, it can be a neighbor. The first thing we all do is jump into defending our position. And you absolutely many times may be right. But being right really serving you? If you're in court, absolutely. In your life, in your private life, you need to examine yourself and own that which you created with no intention, just because the other person come from a different perspective or different capacity, capability, understanding. And that's something that if you start to observe your life, you can see that there are many situations in your life where things happen to you and you're absolutely right, but the circumstances are so poor because you have not tapped into the possibility that your great intention were perceived in someone else's perspective and experience differently. So curing is not healing. Curing is fixing the problem. Healing is a long journey, which is very short. And why I'm using this term, because fixing is a short way, which is very long, because you fix. When I do couple therapy or counseling sometimes, most of the session goes on who is right and who is wrong. The truth is always somewhere in the middle. The resolution, the growth come when we start owning that we are what we're experiencing and also what the other person experience, and to take ownership of what we're creating that contribute to the other person experience. So I might be right, but I need to take the ownership that my actions, my body language, my conversation, my passion, my emotions might be too much for the other person to handle. So is that person weak or too sensitive? Well, comparing to whom? Comparing to me, comparing to you, someone else? Yeah, absolutely. But comparing to themselves, no. So always stop for a second, because if you really want to heal yourself and to liberate yourself from a very narrow space, you need to be in a space where you can think, observe, and engage differently. And to come to the space when you engage differently, you need to own that which you're not intending to do sometimes. Just because we are different, there's no way you're going to have a perfect relationship at work, at your love life, at your, any place you go, right? At your health, at your spiritual state, if you're not investing in it. Nothing just happening to you. We're not here to just to be comfortable and wait for the next wonderful thing that's going to land in our door. You need to create it. And the only way you can create it by owning it, observing, and re-engaging differently, and owning not only your intention, but your surrounding as well. Because it does take a village. We need a village. Nobody can exist in this life just by themselves. So take into heart and your intention to start observing that which you're doing, that you may be very right, but not serving you anymore. And start observing what's going on around you and what people reaction around you that actually not contributing to your situation just because they are different. So if you've been told that you are too sensitive, if you've been told that you're too lazy, if you've been told that you're not enough, or whatever you want is not available for you or will never be available to you, ask yourself, comparing to whom, right? So all the best. You need some unpacking. You know where to find me. I hope it contributes just a little bit to your perspective, and I will see you soon. All the best.